Hi, this is Stacia, and I just played a 15-10 game on chess.com against mqufasa, MQUFASA, rated 1490, and he played me, MidnasLament, rated 1520. I checked this player's stats, and he's only been on chess.com for a couple weeks. I was a little nervous that he might be an engine or something, but I checked his games and they were, win, loss, so nothing suspicious, although he was much higher rated until his last few games. So I was a little nervous seeing that, but okay, we had a Scandinavian, big surprise, right? But this game gets extremely interesting, so hold on to your seat. Interesting to me anyway. All right, so I'm flying through the opening because it's not so important. This is a strange move, this bishop g5 move. I don't see this in the Scandi really. I decided to simply defend, and basically what happened, anytime white offers this trade of bishops in the Scandi, I pretty much take it because the bishop hunt is often a theme in the Scandi, so you can just trade that off. And then you don't have to worry about the bishop hunt. Okay, and I know I'm flying through moves, but I want to get to the interesting part. So often what happens in the Scandi is black is just super solid. You can see that this type of pawn structure is really nice, and we just really grip d5. And then a thematic plan is for black to swing their rooks over eventually, double on the d file, and just hammer on the d4 pawn. And I'm bringing that up because, well, I read that in a book the other day, and it actually happened in this game. Yeah, so c4. So c4 is not a bad move by any means, but you can already see that this d pawn is basically a permanent weakness now. There is no c pawn to defend it. But then again, he already played b4, so the c pawn would be weak. So the d pawn's going to be weak. All right, I saw this, bishop e7. I know I'm still flying through the moves, but okay, I think I can start to slow down now and talk about the position. All right, so bishop f6. This was my idea, right? I want to go after this pawn. Black really doesn't have any pawn weaknesses. And I think for that reason, the computer states black is slightly better. That's what I was assuming too. Because everything's equal, but white just has this weakness. And they are defending it nicely too. So they've got their queen defending it. They've got their knight defending it. And they have their rook defending it so far. If need be, this rook is able to defend it as well. He can just double on the d file. And then that's pretty much it. I guess the king could, in some lines, defend it as well. So he has 3 defenders. I'm attacking twice so far, right? All right, so he played this. That looked like a good idea, so I followed suit. And then g4. So, interesting move. Seems like it's a little risky to me, but it's really fine. And now rook d5. So this is the top computer move, but I'm almost dogmatically following that plan that I just read. Well, I wanted to try it. So I'm going to double rooks and attack this pawn. He brings his king up, wise choice. And okay, I've got more pressure on the d pawn now. I've got 3 pieces now lined up on it. Both rooks and my bishop. My queen may be able to attack it as well. Probably this would be fine, right? And the other idea I had was, like, what if I could get this break in? All right, so he's doubling, and I played e5. And I thought a long time before playing e5, but it just looks like the right move. It is sufficiently defended by my bishop, by the rook, and by my queen. So he can't just take it. Yeah, and he can't take it also because you may have noticed that the pawn's actually pinned to his rook here. All right, so he brings his rook over, and I take the pawn, right? And the knight comes in. So here in the game, I decided to play bishop takes knight, the most natural move. And this is a huge mistake. Okay, I'm not losing after this, but I throw away a win. So I would like you to, well, actually, I think it's too late. Damn it. I was going to say pause your video. Hopefully you didn't see the arrows that were there. If you did not see the arrows there, tell me what black can play in order to win. And there's two moves that work, but they both have the same idea. All right, so the idea is to add one more attacker on the knight, and this seems like such a basic move. I'm really kind of disgusted with myself that I didn't see this. The simple move queen d7 wins. This wins. Why? Because we're adding another attacker on d4. The knight is still pinned. We have too much pressure coming down the d file, so the knight cannot move. And if we add an attacker, he's just going to lose a piece. And aside from queen d7, queen e5 also works. For the same reason, pretty much. We're adding an attacker, and if the queen takes, we take with the bishop. We both lose an attacker, but I still have too much pressure on the knight. So, and the knight's still pinned. So either one of those moves would have won the game. So I'm a little disappointed. But, okay. Yeah, and actually, let me show you how it would play out, just for fun. So let's go with the simple one. Queen d7. It's really funny what the computer wants to do here. a4. The computer's like whites and zugzwang. Like, what do you do? All right, and then you simply take the knight. I mean, you're just up material, right? You basically, queen e2 is the move now because we've got a huge amount of pressure coming down the d file now. So queen e2, but now just, you know, probably moving the bishop out of the way is fine. Is there a bishop move? Maybe not. Computer actually wants to play b6 or g6 or a5. Yeah, we can take with the bishop, and this is fine. I mean, we're just up a piece. So, okay. Now let's go back because the game gets even more interesting to me. So instead of winning, I got down to this queen and pawn and king endgame, or major piece endgame. And I thought that we were equal here, and the computer agrees. So why are we equal? Well, white is doing well in the sense that, well, they got an extra move. Okay. White is doing good in the sense that their king is a little bit closer than mine and has a clear road into the position. So if this were to go to a king upon endgame, he's going to have the more active king, which would be a pretty good advantage. His pawns are also farther along, so that's a slight advantage for white as well. However, when the queens are on the board, king safety is a problem. So whose king is safer? Well, basically, black has a safer king. So for that reason, I think it's pretty equal, and the computer indeed says this is just a draw. So he brings his king up more, and now my plan is I'm going to keep my king safe, and I'm going to just check him. And if I can pick off some pawn weaknesses, I'll do that. He also had a huge time advantage at this point, like about 7 minutes on me. All right, so yeah, I know he has this check. Whoops. I know he has this check, so I'm just defending this and looking for checks of my own. And he's trying to make progress and doing a good job. And of course, he wants to trade queens because if he does, then his king advantage and his pawn advantage will be much greater. Yeah, he keeps moving his king up. I was impressed at the way he played this because I don't know positions like this that well, so I'm still very much learning the game. All right, now he's trying to trade. Computer still says this is draw. Felt like a draw. I checked him. Yeah, he keeps blocking with his queen. Queen d8, the only move that draws here. So he's doing a great job advancing. So I close this off. Although in hindsight, yeah, you can take the pawn too, or you can play queen d2 check. So playing checks is good. I closed it though. I mean, a lot of moves draw here. Yeah, and then I did see this move. So he can force the queen trade here. And I actually thought I'd be fine here, although I didn't have a lot of time on my clock. So yes, he gets a pass pawn, but my king is very near. And now I have this majority. So I thought this is probably a draw. But this is fast. This is where it gets fascinating again. So I thought this is either a draw or I'm losing because his king's just way more active, and if he breaks through, his pawns have way less squares to go than mine. So I would lose the race. Yeah, and I played here and okay. So in this position, the computer wants to play some different moves. And as black, what would you play here? And what's fascinating about this is there are a lot of moves that win. And I played the move, the natural looking move, king d7. And now if white finds a certain move, they draw. So if you're a white here, what could you play to draw? And the only move that draws in this position is a4. And he freaking played it. So I was actually winning. And I was flabbergasted when I looked at this game afterwards because how the frick am I winning? And I think the answer is I have this queenside majority. And I can make a runaway pass pawn. And in that case, I'm going to win. Because he'll have to go chase it. My king will come this way. And win this pawn and probably this one. And then I'm going to get a queen. So fascinating scenario. So because of that, king d7 should not be played here. Instead, man, I have a lot of arrows. Instead, b5 wins, b6 wins, king d8 wins, and I think the reason is like zugzwang basically. So like, okay, let's look at king d8. If king d8, he can play a4 now, but now king d7. And what do you do as white? I think every move loses. So his king cannot go to this square, this square, this square. The only place the king can really go that makes any sense is here. And that would undefend the pawn. So the king can't really move. If he moves this pawn, then, well, I have a couple moves. I could play c takes b5. And when he takes back, a6. Now look at this. This is a wonderful variation for me. Yeah, and I can probably, it says king c3 now. King c3. I'm just making moves, but it's pretty clear to me Yeah, I mean, black is going to have 2 connected passed pawns. And this is just winning, so fascinating. So, yeah, I've studied endgame before and zugzwang and stuff, but I don't often run into it in my own games. This was clearly a case of zugzwang, though, and king d7 was a terrible move because I think after a4, I'm the one in zugzwang. Yeah, and it's still a draw is the thing. So after that move, I can play king e8 and try to put him in zugzwang. I don't think he can push a pawn here. Can he play this? No, he can't. Oh, same thing. King d7, he's in zugzwang. So what could white do here? It says king f4. Well, my king stepped away from the pawn. So because of that, the king can actually move. And then I come back, and the king is forced back. So wow. Yeah, he cannot move either pawn because of the zugzwang. So this would be a draw. So wow, fascinating game. It's funny how usually, sometimes this happens in the Scandinavian. I mean, don't get me wrong, sometimes there's opposite side castling and you get crazy freaking games where everyone's trying to checkmate each other. But sometimes you get these games where there's just a bunch of trades. Yeah, and I'm just flying through it now so we can go over the main lessons. So sometimes this will happen. Yeah, and if you ever see a weakness like this in the pawn structure, you know, and I'm almost 2 years into chess now, and it's kind of a new concept for me to like identify what the weaknesses are in the position and then to analyze and see how many times I can attack it and how many times my opponent can attack it. Like this felt like a new way of playing for me. So hopefully that means I'm advancing even though I lost. Of course, I missed the critical blow here, just simply adding. I won't forget this anytime soon. Just simply adding another attacker on. It's a very dogmatic thing to do. I can't believe I missed it because I can be very dogmatic. All right. Then we went to this interesting endgame where it's just queen and king plus pawn endgames are crazy to me. Usually I just check the frick out of my opponent until they make a mistake, honestly. All right, and then we got to this, and wow. So zugzwang was a huge thing here. You know, I have to say that potentially I would have seen that it was zugzwang, but I had such little time on my clock at this point. I had like 3 minutes that I was feeling kind of panicked and didn't really fully assess the position. So I probably played this king d7 move a bit hastily. And after a4, yeah, it's just not there anymore. Yeah, and then I played a5, and this loses, which is kind of funny. I thought I would create a pass pawn, which it does, but it's just not good enough. So as you can see here, this is lost now. Because, well, I'll show you. It actually happens. Yeah, what can I really do now? I have to stop these pawns. And as soon as I do, white's going to run over here. Oops. Eat all my pawns. Say yummy. And then I'm going to lose. So that is exactly what happens. Note that here I was really hoping for a stalemate. That would have been just beautiful. But no such luck. And then, yeah, this happens. Yeah, and you're probably like, why aren't you resigning? Well, I kind of have this rule where if I think I have any slight chance of a trick, then I keep playing. And I was just thinking here, my opponent might get overconfident and stalemate me. like especially when he had this other queen. I've had that happen in Blitz, and I was moving very quickly here. I thought, what if he stalemates me? But no, this person was very good at checkmating, so there you go. All right, well, thanks for watching the video. I hope that you found this as interesting as I did. I usually don't do these videos on like endgame like that, but I thought it was really interesting. So anyway, if you have any comments, please leave them. Like my video, subscribe. I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff in the future. I'm going to be reviewing my other tournament games, and I also take requests. So if you want me to like analyze one of your games or a certain opening, I'd be happy to do it, because the whole point of this is that I want to learn chess. I want to be helpful. I want to be entertaining if possible, and I want to learn to teach and instruct as well. So this is all just one big learning project. Perfect. Chess is so great for that. All right, so have a great day and hope to see you next time. Bye.